Management 101. So you get the team you deserve. That's the fundamental concept. And you get the reality that you deserve, right? And so if you want to have a business where you have a team around you, people around you doing all the work, and you just being in your genius zone, which is, if you're a visionary founder, which is being wildly creative, having your impact in the world, bringing your ideas into the world and executing them, the skill that you have to work on is the skill of managing people, leading people, inspiring people, right? If you're a visionary founder, you're probably already good at inspiring people, right? You're probably already good at sorry?
And the crazy ideas.
You're probably good at the crazy ideas, right? The key skill then to develop is, how do you get those crazy ideas into the minds of the people that are on your team? How do you clearly communicate where you're going? And then you've got to deal with some of the day-to-day. Now, eventually, if you're really, really, really good at this and you get to level 10, you build a business that's big enough that has operational staff that manage all the operations of the business. But here's the challenge. You have to cross that bridge yourself first. And that's an initiation of sorts, and this is if you're unfunded, you're not a funded startup, you don't have co-founders, and you're bootstrapping the business. So that's that scenario, right? But basically, the chasm that you have to cross is to get to the promised land where you've got like 20 employees and one of them is that solid integrator who catches all the balls, right? You have to be the integrator along that road. So you have to have the trial of doing first before you get the privilege of handing that over to someone else. And it means you've got to pave the road. And it means that you've got to learn to be a good manager. It means that you've got to learn to be a good leader. And that's fucking hard work, because you have to tone down the crazy entrepreneur a bit and actually get people to work with you. And it's interesting how many of my friends that I've seen recently who've got a business, they're that creator mode. I'm not saying they're crazy entrepreneur, but they're a strong creator energy, meaning they're really good at putting lots of content out into the world. But where I've seen some struggle is, number one, is keeping focus and keeping direction, because they keep changing to different strategies and keep changing to different ideas. And so it just becomes different. Number two is they start hiring their first few staff and they fail at that. And they realize, oh shit, coordinating other humans is actually pretty hard. And it's so much more than just giving other people money and asking them, oh, hey, can you do this thing? There is so much more than that. It's like parenthood, or running a sports team, or so many other things. There's so much depth to leading people. Hence, back to the idea of you get what you deserve. You will always be limited by your skill in leadership and management. And if you think about it spiritually, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So therefore, your ability to self-lead, your ability to self-manage, your ability to manage your own emotions, your ability to keep your head screwed on for yourself and your own inner workings will be reflected in how you're able to manage and lead those people around you. And that's always going to be, you are always the constraint. The entrepreneur is always the constraint, because if you have the ability to recruit and hire and build teams of hundreds of people, or build in the funding to be able to build teams like that, you would and you will. But you've got to look at the reality that you have right now and go, okay, who is willing to join me? Who is willing to work with me? Who is working productively for me? And if anything in that reality is not working the way you want it to be working right now, who's responsible? You're responsible. You're in the middle of it. You're responsible for your own reality. Sorry? It's a reflection of you. Exactly. Now, entrepreneurs are probably a little bit better at hearing that than most of the population, because entrepreneurs tend to be a lot more self-driven and a lot more self-sufficient. They tend to already have the belief that, okay, life or my reality is up to me to work on. But it's a cold, hard truth when things don't go right to not blame others, but to then look at yourself. Now, thankfully, most entrepreneurs then go, oh, I need help with managing. I need help with leading. And they'll read books, or they'll get mentors, or they'll join a mastermind program or whatever, right? They'll go somewhere to start getting help. But some, if they stay in blame, they will stay in their reality. Because you've got to change yourself for the external reality to change. If you don't change yourself internally, the external reality doesn't change. Simple, fundamental, universal concept. So simple. So with the person that we're chatting about, my part in that partnership is there's a bit of rescue in there for me. Because it's like, oh, let me come in as a co-founder and let me take that management burden away from you. I'll do the management, but it doesn't actually solve the problem for that person.
Yeah, he gets to stay the same way, because because you're in there to clean up his mess.
Correct. But that's changing.